a 21-point line. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I don't even know what else to say about it. It's pretty incredible. I thought that this year this game was going to mean so much because we heard about how Miami was really on the come and how they did a nice job in the transfer portal, and certainly we've seen that with Ward and Martinez and Brown offensively, and then several guys in the front seven on the defense. And Florida State was the favorite to win this conference and kind of maintain, but we've seen the way the season has gone. Miami finds ways to win close games, which is reminiscent to Florida State during that 19-game win streak. I mean, Miami's won 3 straight now by 1 possession, and Florida State just frankly cannot compete. It doesn't matter who their opponent is. They're getting beat in every phase of the game each and every Saturday.
Now, Rick, I know that Norvell gets a bunch of portal guys, but do you have enough recruits to understand the magnitude of this rivalry to where this Saturday it may end up into a fight?
Ian, I'm sure this must bother you, and it must bother all the guys that you played with. And, this applies for Miami, Florida State, and really anyone. It just seems like today's kids could care less. It just doesn't mean what it meant to them, or what it means to them, what it meant to you. And I think that's just Generation Z. I'm not going to single out Miami or Florida State players. It just feels like the founding fathers and the folks who paved the way, there's not as much love and favoritism there the way that there used to be. The answer to that question right now is a resounding no. I mean, if so, that same group would have put it together last Friday night against Duke. They were 22-0 lifetime against Duke, and they were not ready to play. Not enough guys on the field on a punt. Mike Norvell, instead of taking what every other coach in the world would have done, which is take a 5-yard penalty with maybe the best punter in America, he burnt one of his second-half timeouts. And it's just an example week after week of these kids not being ready. And I think really the underlying story is that a lot of these kids simply just do not care. And that's a real shame. And Florida State's dealing with that right now.
Wow. So 7 games into the season, you think they've got a bunch of guys in that roster that don't care?
I do.
Wow.
I absolutely do. So, I think that defensive line has been the best example of that really since the Georgia Tech game.
All right, so do you feel any better that Norvell has admitted they made mistakes in evaluating talent?
No, because he's around for at least 5 or 6 more years at $10 million per. I mean, it's mighty noble of him to say, yeah, we made mistakes here. How's he going to fix it? He's off to a real bad start in college football recruiting. He's botched the quarterback situation once again. You and I were texting during the game on Friday night. I mean, you bring Kromenhoek in, the guy makes plays. I've been yelling about the fact that they haven't had wide receivers for a very long time, and Portier puts it on the carpet. Hakeem Williams showed there's a guy who doesn't care. There's a guy who's scared to get hit. He shouldn't be allowed to put that uniform on anymore. Ron Dugan's, his coach, is going to get fired. He's the wide receivers coach. If that was Ron Dugan's 20 years ago, there's no question in the world that Ronald Dugans makes that reception, gets blown up, maybe gets knocked out of the game, but was tough enough that he was going to make a play. So, no, what Mike Norvell admitted to means less than nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Couple more as we talk with our man Rick Ballou at Ballou1010XL into the night later on. He's always fiery. 2 guys seem kind of lost with their quarterbacks. Norvell was one of them, of course. Brock Glenn starts. Kromenhoek comes in. He puts Brock Glenn back in. Same thing happened with Sark in Texas when he took yours out, put Arch in, and went back to yours. So forget about Texas for the minute. How do you think the quarterback, what decision will Mike make with that quarterback position against Miami?
In this game against Miami, because they're going to be so geared up and so ready to go, you might as well start Glenn. You might as well put him out there, let him turn the ball over a couple of times, and before you know it, it's 21-0 Miami, and then put Luke in and see what he can do. Now, it'll be intriguing to see exactly how this all comes into play, but it's obvious. Kromenhoek is their future, and he needs to take every single rep that he can. And, I think the story here, Joe, is there is so much pressure now, and I don't even think it's really been discussed, but it's the truth. If Kromenhoek is not the answer, what in the hell is Florida State going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not Glenn, and Tate Rodemaker's not walking through that door. A.J. Duffy's not walking through that door. Chubba Purdy's not walking through that door.
Remember A.J. Duffy?
Yeah.
Okay? Mike Norvell, the brilliance of Mike Norvell in a winnable game 4 years ago against Notre Dame continues to play Mackenzie Milton, who can't throw a 10-yard out, and keep Jordan Travis on the bench. If it doesn't work with Kromenhoek, this thing is going to be in the gutter for a very long period of time, unless he can convince someone else out there in the transfer portal again to come on into Florida State and try to flip the switch and get things going there. I don't want that to be the situation. I want Kromenhoek to get every snap that he can and, feel free to make a catch when he throws the football to you. I really think his kid's got a chance. And if he does not, I can't even begin to wonder. You think this year is rough for the boys in Tallahassee. Can you imagine what it's going to be like next year and the following seasons if they do not have a quarterback?
So, real quick before you go, I'm not seeing a win on the schedule other than Chuck Southern, who's 1-6, and I don't know what they can do to Florida State, but you would think Florida State's beating Charleston Southern, right?
Well, I don't know. What was it last year? Mike Norvell didn't have them ready against what? Was it Northern Alabama? Before you know it, it's 13-0, and you have to run Jordan Travis on a naked because the rest of the guys are looking at their girlfriends in the stands, and you're down 13-0 to a Division I AA team, and that's when Jordan Travis, has his leg ripped out from under him, and it costs him his career. But that's another example of Norvell didn't have the guys ready. The team wasn't ready, so they crumbled to an inferior opponent. They lost their best player. Then they sucked their thumbs, against Georgia, and for the remainder of the season, they did beat Louisville in a very ugly football game. So, to mark down Charlie Seltz right now as a victory, there's no way I would do that. I don't care who you walk out against Florida State right now. There is a better than average chance that they are going to beat the Seminoles.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Thanks so much for watching our 1010XL Knowles channel. For more college football coverage, check out the Gators channel.